Consider this your warning if you're afraid of bugs, or robots, or errands, because we're going to build a robot bug, and we're going to use this airplane model. It's time for Aaron Does It Wrong in support of Casey Hudson and WorldWorkings.com. I'm going to start with these engine parts from this model kit. They have a great shape for an internal electronics housing. I'll remove them from the sprues and clean them up with sandpaper, and finally scraping the sprue connections with my hobby knife. Then I can glue them together. This will be the base of the robot. It would house all the electronics and be the connection where all the components will attach. This is a segmented robot to allow flexibility and the ability to scuttle into cracks. These airplane wheels are the joint where the segments attach. This joint would allow a full 360-degree rotation between the joints while still flexing up and down and side to side at this point where the joint collar attaches to the segment pieces. Admittedly, these transforming robot toys made me want to make my robot look like a bug. Being robots already, I'll just reuse these carapace pieces for my robot body, starting with the carapace/legs. The shapes from these toys will either be used directly in the build or will be used in future builds. However, for these pieces to fit over my segmented sections, I'll need to break these threaded sleeves off so that it fits around the barrel body section. This part of the carapace is where the body will cover the connection joint, so I need to cut a small channel around the connection post. With this cut, I can ensure the pieces will fit over the segmented sections and then glue them onto place, on both segments of the robot. I still need to attach legs to the bottom of the robot, but I can just glue the original robot leg part that we removed to the bottom. This robot is a base class of espionage robot. In World, it would have many uses, but also have many different tools that could be attached to the back of the robot. This piece allows the robot to carry liquid vessels. This can include things like a solution of nanobots that are inserted into a computer system to hack files. However, other tools can be attached to the back of the robot, including surveillance equipment, tracking equipment, or network equipment that could allow instant, secure, almost untraceable communication with an implanted spy. I need a way to secure my nanobot tube to the cradle, so I'll use these robot leg parts as a pair of clamping arms to hold the vessel in place. These arms would be able to hold multiple sizes of vessel onto the cradle. The robot needs to be mobile, and since I want this robot to look like an insect, I'll just reattach the original legs. I'll trim them to shape and clean them up, then I can attach them to the bottom of the robot. 1, 2, 3. I didn't like the look of the cradle, so I decided to cut most of the front section off. I think it makes the whole robot look cleaner. Then, these holding arms need a mechanism to look as if they can pivot. I'll use these airplane wheels and cut wedges from them. Then I can attach them to the cradle and arms, thus providing a mechanism to simulate a pivot point. This is a small sensor array on the front. Honestly, this just makes it look a little bit more robot-y. I know that future technology probably doesn't have these, or the guitar string cables that I'm attaching right now. Current human technology doesn't. It's all sleek and smooth, but I like adding pokey-outy bits, and I'll keep adding them to make my technology look like technology. These wires are part of the control system that regulates the release of the nanobots into the computer system to be hacked. With construction done, everything is primed gray and given a white base coat, but I'll need to use a brush to get most of the crevices of the model. Then I can start to paint the model. I want this to look metallic, so I'll use my metallic watercolors. I took the sections apart for painting. Well, I accidentally broke it, but this will make the painting easier. I'll start by painting a color on one section, and while this dries, I can paint the same color on the back section. I know that these watercolors are the wrong type of paint to use on plastic, but they've worked well for me in the past, and I'm starting to understand how to use them. They adhere well to acrylic paint, and depending on the base color of the paint, each metallic watercolor has a different effect. You'll be able to see the difference when I paint a layer of watercolor over white paint versus black paint. But where these watercolors really shine is when I match the acrylic base with the watercolor. For example, I want to highlight the difference between the main robot and the attachment part, so I painted the attachment arm base acrylics to match the watercolor, and the attachment arm is much more vibrant than the base robot, which was white. I base painted the legs with black and covered them with a metallic watercolor, which produces a much deeper metallic effect. Then everything gets a black wash to deepen the shadows, and a white highlight to brighten the edges. Then I can attach both sections back together. I'll use a piece of toothpick for this, so I'll need to drill out the body section so that the toothpick fits. With that, I can present a spy robot. This robot is configured with a solution of nanobots to inject into a computer system to hack the computer system. But the attachment piece can be removed and other tools can be attached, including audio and visual espionage devices, tracking devices, covert communication systems, and whatever else needs to be provided for the story. Thank you for watching. You can support Casey or help me buy more toys to break by finding Casey's Patreon, World Workings. You can also support by finding Casey's website at worldworkings.com. Thank you for watching. This has been Aaron Does It Wrong.